All right, looks like we are ready to go, guys. So hello again. Once again, welcome, guys. I'm Marek from Capital and excited to kick off this first session of Beyond the Deal. Still a few people joining, so I will be... Yep. So we have a great group of people here, experienced in business, as we know, in acquisitions. So I'm sure it will be an interesting discussion today. I would like to also welcome those of you watching on LinkedIn. So please feel free to write your questions in the comments. So I will address them during the Q&A session. So today I want to discuss how we revive underperforming revenue channels. Discuss, not to present, but discuss with you guys. So, which is a crucial topic for business owners, CEOs, business buyers, as we and deal makers and SME investors. I guess this event will run for about 30, maybe 40 minutes, and I'm confident it will be particularly beneficial to those of you looking to improve the operational side of your acquisitions or your businesses. So, but before we start, what if I told you that most businesses or business acquisitions fail not because of bad strategy, but because they overlook one critical aspect, one of many. So underperforming revenue channels. This is kind of like a blind spot of many business owners and deal makers. I mean deal makers, investors, business owners often focus on deal flow, acquisition strategies, due diligence, etc. But as you know, here's the real challenge: running and managing a business. Some investors say, or private equity people say, buying a business is easy, running is the hard part. So even if you hire a general manager, as we always do in the SME world, you will often find yourself making operational decisions. You might even need to run the business yourself under certain circumstances, at least for some time. So this is where I come with this, with this meeting. So with over 20 years in business, I've made every operational and strategic mistake you can think of, but I've learned a lot from them, and that's what I want to discuss with you today and over the next sessions. Every session, every 2 weeks, each session every 2 weeks, I'd like to discuss with you a different business topic designed to help us lead more effectively. Let's today dive again into strategies for reviving underperforming revenue channels. So let's. My plan for today is to start with a 10-15-minute interactive presentation. Interactive, so please keep interact with that. Ask questions. Disagree or maybe agree. Okay, guys. So let me know if that sounds good to you. Okay, a few people joining yet. Okay, I will share my screen then. I've got just 5 slides of my presentation, so hopefully that will help us to discuss this this topic. Sure. Okay. That's the one. Okay, that's the one. Okay, I guess you can see my screen now. Let maybe just slightly change it.
No, she's not here.
Let's go that way. Okay. Right. A few still people joining, so let me just. Okay, so strategies for reviving underperforming revenue channels. And again, I do hope you will interact with this presentation. I will share some of my real life examples with you, so hopefully you can help me to maybe you've got examples from your businesses as well. So let's start with the identifying broken revenue streams. In my retail business, for example, that was 15 years ago, telecommunication sector, we used to sell phone accessories alongside telecommunication services. At first, the accessory sales boosted our revenue, but over time, I noticed that the demand dropped. So initially, I thought it was just a market trend, but obviously, upon deeper analysis, I found that our pricing had become less competitive, and customers could find similar products, same products online for cheaper. That was the era of growing online stores, e-commerce, and obviously manufacturing in China, in Asia. So the revenue stream was still there. We made quite a significant money in terms of revenue, but it wasn't contributing as it had before. Some of the products actually didn't actually contribute at all to the bottom line. And so let's break down now into actionable steps that you can potentially take to improve your own business operations. So what I would suggest, obviously, in terms of revenue, we need to use a lot of data to identify underperforming channels. And I will come back to it in a second, what I mean channels. We look obviously for signs for declining sales, lower margins, or fewer repeat customers. Let's investigate whether external factors, that market trends or competitor pricing, as in the example I just shared with you, or internal factors like maybe poor marketing, are affecting our revenue streams. And this is what not many small business owners do. Breaking down the revenue by product or by service. Again, guys, please share if you do that, or maybe you're familiar with this. But this allows us to analyze each one separately and identify which areas are underperforming, so we can obviously take actions. And we want to know specifically the gross profit for each revenue stream, for each channel, for each product, for each service. We need to know separately for product A what's the gross profit, for product B what's the gross profit. And then we can establish cost centers, and we can actually tie the cost centers into the revenue channels. Then that will give us a better understanding. Sorry, guys, there is somebody here. Let me just I will try to mute. So, okay, yeah, that should be better. So let's imagine we've got product A and product B. For example, product A we sell for $100 and product B $100, and gross profit same. It says 40% and 40%. However, if we have we have the cost centers in you've got your overheads, and we allocate these overheads along across the cost centers. Cost centers, I mean, that could be departments or your functions like accounting, or maybe HR, or maybe marketing, or customer service. So we've got product A and product B, same gross profit, so 40%, $40. But if we allocate, for example, for product A, 70% of customer service cost center, because this product requires more customer service for some reason, for many reasons. Could be because, I don't know, clients ask questions about this product, how to implement, how to maybe some complaints, etc. So if this product A with gross profit of $40 have the allocated cost center 70% of customer service, and the product B is 30% of customer service, that's what I mean. We have to know these numbers. So obviously the product B is contributing much more to our bottom line. This is not easy, but this is the job probably we have to in terms of revenue, but also we have to think about our overheads, cost centers, cost allocation, etc. So Yeah, again, let me know if you kind of have any real life examples in terms of these revenue channels or maybe cost centers, etc. And obviously, another example, in my homeware business some time ago, we used to supply a particular line of handmade furniture. It was a premium product, while it sold well. In the beginning, over time, it became less profitable because of increasing costs and lower sales volumes. So after much deliberation, I had to make this tough decision to discontinue the line and refocus on faster moving products with better margins. It wasn't easy, but it freed up some resources for growth in other areas. And again, that's obviously we're not talking about startups where we probably would, we quite often we have revenue that doesn't kind of contribute to our bottom line. However, in established businesses, in the businesses we buy, or in businesses we for turnaround, that's specifically for turnaround businesses, we need to make these tough choices, whether the revenue channels are still aligned with our core strategy, whether they're profitable, or maybe they consume too many resources, or whether these channels can be restructured to be more efficient, or maybe it is better to cut these losses and just stop selling some of the products. And yeah, we don't hold on to the channel because of its history. This is what we probably you guys heard when you spoke to the business sellers. They usually say things like, "Oh, we've been doing this for years," and that's the history. So we cannot really change. We don't really want to change it. However, if you kind of dive into this, then it's you realize some of the products, you have to let them go. Some of the clients, you have to let them go because they don't contribute to the bottom line. That's tough decisions, but again, for business buyers, that's probably much easier decisions than for the CEOs or business owners running these businesses for decades. Again, have you ever come across with this kind of business sellers that they say, "Oh, we've been doing for years, that's the right way to do things"? Have you ever come across with something like this? No? Okay.
All right.
Right. So let's move then. So another example in terms of choosing the right revenue channels. Again, real life example, in my workwear manufacturing business, we initially focus on producing standard kind of bulk workwear items like whatever that was, vests, safety vests or high visibility jackets. While this was a core revenue driver for years, over time, the market became flooded with much cheaper alternatives from low-cost producers. Margins were shrinking, and it was clear that we couldn't compete on price alone. And that was back in Poland, actually. So rather than continuing down this, I call this commoditized path, we decided to pivot and specialized. I mean, just add a bit of customization, or just increase the quality of the product, of the workwear. And we focus on specific industries, such as for example, oil and gas workers. So we sell this durable uniforms for construction. Again, we offered a bit of customization features like embroidered logos, for example. And this move allowed us to charge premium prices and obviously foster deeper relationships with clients. And the other cheaper providers, they couldn't kind of compete with this model. As a result, definitely we increased our margins and developed strong customer loyalty. Again, strong customer loyalty. I think that's big part of the choosing the right revenue channels. Again, so let's break this down into actionable steps that you potentially take to improve your business operations. So, for example, imagine whether any of your products becoming commoditized, as I say, with little room for differentiation. If so, again, that may be the time to pivot. You don't want to compete with this much cheaper, probably Asian-based manufacturers. Focus on niche markets. That's, again, you can then obviously play with pricing strategy. Pricing is a big one in terms of revenue. That's probably for another meeting. And again, customization as a competitive edge, just adding a bit of tailored whatever features. This will help you to stand out and charge a premium prices. Obviously, while, as I mentioned, building stronger client relationship. Right. So, ruthless focus. This is, again, probably not a good advice for startups. Again, I'm interested to what you think, but when you buy a business established for many years, I mean, small and medium-sized, probably smaller, medium-sized businesses, or I specialize in turnaround. So this is specifically, kind of what I've been doing for years. Ruthless focus, doing fewer things better. So in my chain of retail stores, as I mentioned before, we initially offered a wide variety of products, thinking that obviously we all think that more variety would attract more customers. But what happened then was the kind of opposite. So inventory costs, first of all, inventory costs skyrocketed, and customer satisfaction dropped because obviously our focus was diluted. So we cut back probably 40% of our products and concentrated on the top performing lines. And this allowed us, even if we were kind of like a startup yet, opening new stores, this allowed us to provide better customer service, definitely streamline operations, and increase overall profitability. We actually, if I remember correctly, we doubled the profitability only on this, cutting this variety of products. And again, narrow your focus, identify the few channels that contribute the most to your revenue and double down on them. Specifically in the turnaround situation, but to be honest, turnaround is not just for distressed businesses. Turnaround opportunities exist in any business. So, and definitely in these businesses, you can, even if you decrease your revenue for some time, you still can even double. As I said, we decreased 40% our revenue, but we doubled our profits back then. So, and you can do it with pretty much any business, especially the established businesses. As I said, the business owners, the CEOs, for many years, they've been doing things because of they've been doing this. Fewer revenue channels mean less complexity as well, as you imagine. So focus on making the remaining ones perfect, as efficient, as profitable as possible. So again, doing less, doing fewer means doing better, I would say. So again, hopefully we can discuss this, because I personally think that's a very interesting concept of actually shrinking our revenues. Just focus on the ones that we found out that they are most profitable, and they're building the customer loyalty over the time. And the last one, operational efficiency and revenue channels. Again, I'm going back to my workwear manufacturing business. We had a solid revenue stream from custom orders, but the delivery time started slipping. Customer complaints grew, So obviously I've been trying to find out what's going on. And I realized it wasn't the channel that was broken, the revenue channel that was broken. It was our operations this time. So by tightening our production processes and improving supply chain management, we not only reduced delivery times, but also improved customer satisfaction and increased, obviously, the repeat business. Again, we have to focus on process. Even if this is a small business, the revenue channel is not always the problem. The revenue channel is not the problem, but the operational inefficiencies behind it. So let's review our supply chains, for example, or production processes. In terms of production processes, I can give you another example. Again, in the worker manufacturing business, we introduced something called lean manufacturing principles. Obviously, small part of it, because lean manufacturing this is for larger manufacturing corporations, but it helped us eliminate waste. So we reduced downtime between production runs by standardizing workflows and dividing workforce into specialized teams. We just kind of split people over the teams, and each team focus on specific tasks, kind of like for example, Ford. When Ford started his line, car manufacturing lines, still it's still work. It's still work. Right. Again, so that's the main things from me today, and I hope guys, maybe you have some questions, maybe you disagree, and maybe you want to clarification on that. I've got a question to you, actually. So maybe you've got some revenue stream in your business that that has underperformed recently, and we can maybe have a look at it. So let have a maybe 5-minute discussion if you're okay with that.
Marek, we have an example.
Oh, hi, Peter. Yeah.
When with my web business, we had a case where some of the project work wasn't very profitable, but it was typically the first piece of work you did for a client. Sometimes projects can run on, and if you quote too much, you won't win it. But we could consider it to a certain extent, not to a complete extent, but as possibly a loss leader, because once you had the client on after the project work, everything else could be time and materials, and then that would be a lot more profitable. So sometimes there was a piece, a work type that wasn't particularly profitable, but set you up for lots more profitable work in the future. So I guess that's a bit of an exception. Still like to make it more profitable as well, though.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good example, actually. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, what was the business about?
It was a web company. So
web company. Yeah.
Typically, the first build, you might not be all that profitable because sometimes they take longer. The clients want different things, and you can't quote too high, or you won't. There'll be a lot of people quoting low. But once you got the client on, of course, then the servicing, the digital marketing projects, all of that sort of stuff was hourly billed. So they're much more profitable after that first project.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good example. So you said you had this business, so you sold this business, or what happened?
Yes, well, it's now just my wife looks after it, and I'm focusing on this.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, any more views on that, please? Not, we will be wrapping up. Okay. So maybe another question. So, guy, because I just let's so what other we spoke about the revenue channels today. Obviously, I've given a lot of a number of examples from mostly manufacturing businesses. One was the retail chain of stores, but maybe you've got some other questions, or maybe about your businesses, whatever you can think of, what kind of challenges you have. I know you guys, you mostly buy businesses, as I believe, or you're doing these WIBO deals as well. In terms of WIBO, for example, you can definitely, you know, if you reach out to me actually after this call, I can actually send you some my spreadsheets, whatever, you know, kind of systems and processes to have a look on this revenue channels. You know, as I said, you have the revenue, you need to know your gross profit per product or per channel or per whatever, whether this is, for example, online sales channels, or this is you know, or B2B, B2C, etc. So let's, you know, if you know your KPIs for each channel, for each product, for each different client base, then we can dive in even deeper and think about, as I said, about the cost centers, how to measure this. Again, so you will realize that some of your products, some of the revenue channels, they not making money, or some of them making more money than you thought, and then you can invest more in, for example, in this channel. You can spend more on marketing because this is more profitable channel. Whereas again, some other channels, I found this pretty much in every business. You always have some channels or products or clients that they don't make any money to the business. But how to work this out, that's quite challenging. But you know, if you're doing your WIBO, you're doing your buy businesses, this is probably one of the first things to find out what's the revenue channels, how they look like, because again, the business actually is about making money and, you know, bringing some revenue, not about being you know, being sexy or whatever. Again, have you got any challenges? If not, we will then wrap up. Any questions whatsoever?
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So yeah, Pete again. So I'm looking to buy a business, but it's we do motorcycles, but they changed their computer system over. And it was obviously quite a big, messy process. For over a year, they were running two systems side by side because they couldn't get the new one quite right. And since then, of course, well, a lot of the cost codes ended up going to the wrong places. So it looks like some of the departments are making massive profits and others are making none at all. So it's actually quite hard to interrogate their numbers and find out which parts to work on, or which parts to keep, or which parts to drop. So of course, the first challenge when I get in there is going back through it and finding out where the costs have been going to the wrong places, and just basically put it all back together again. So that's I guess one of the problems why they've got into the state they're in is because they simply don't know.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. You know, well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Oh, we got a question. So that's actually yours. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah. So you, Peter, so you mentioned you know, so you doing this yourself, or because some of the business owners, they, you know, they bring like make clever, smart CFOs, for example, to find out these things. But you doing this yourself?
Well, I'll be JVing with some people and making sure that
right,
someone better than the finances than I am will be involved. Yes.
Yes, you know, usually it's a very, you know, it's a good idea to have somebody with these skills because it will pay back always. You have to have a good CFO. And that reminds me another story, like Michael Dell, that was probably 3 decades ago. The Dell company was going bust. You know, there was kind of, they run out of cash. So Michael Dell decided to bring like a clever, you know, smart CFO. So these guys found out that actually something, obviously this is not about the revenue, including revenue, but that was the cash conversion cycle. Another thing we can probably discuss. They decreased the cash conversion cycle, which was 50 or whatever, 60 days for Dell at the time. They decreased this to -5 or 6 days, which actually means that people pay you before you actually start, you know, doing this, manufacturing this product. So this obviously brought a lot of cash into the company, and, you know, the company obviously we still, they're still around, and they're quite huge. So cash conversion cycles another thing, but again, revenue channels, I believe this is the big part. Okay, guys. So thank you very much for today. Let's have a chat. Have a meeting in 2 week time. You can maybe again reach out to me what topic we would like to discuss maybe next time. Again, maybe the working capital, the cash conversion cycle, or whatever. Let me know. We can dive in. Hopefully, you will find this. You found this one useful. And yeah, thank you for your time. Yeah, working capital. Wouldn't be good. Working capital wouldn't be, would not. Emre, why? Would be probably. Yeah, working capital is, yes, would be. Yeah. I think that's thank you, Marek. Thanks. Okay, guys, thank you very much again. And yes, hopefully we can see each other next time in 2 week time. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Marek. Bye-bye.
Bye.